Today, we are talking about sugar. Specifically, we're going to talk about the one type of sugar that you consume that does not raise your blood sugar levels. That sugar is called fructose. Fructose is a fruit sugar, which is actually pretty easy to remember because ose means sugar, and the word fruit in front of ose gives you fructose, which is basically like fructose. It is a naturally occurring simple sugar. The other simple sugar most commonly consumed is glucose. And table sugar, the sugar that you and I picture when we think of the word sugar, is made up of 50% glucose and 50% fructose. There are other sweeteners out there too that contain fructose. Of course, you've heard of high fructose corn syrup, the main sweetener ingredient in sodas and candy and like everything else that comes in a box bag or package. High fructose corn syrup has varying levels of fructose, but given that it has fructose in the name, you know it's got plenty of it. It can have anywhere from 45% upwards to 90% fructose. Honey is roughly 50% fructose. Agave nectar is about 70% fructose. The other component of these sweeteners is usually glucose, and these numbers all affect the glycemic index of a sweetener. Glycemic index is a scale that's used to describe the availability of carbohydrates in a sugar. So the higher the glycemic index, the quicker the sugar enters your blood, which we consider a blood sugar spike. And then out comes the insulin from the pancreas to help the cells use up that sugar and tell the liver to store up some of it for later use. Unless you have type 2 diabetes, then your pancreas doesn't make enough insulin to control those blood sugar levels, which will lead to a whole host more of different health problems. So this is why it is so important for diabetics and pre-diabetics to understand sugar intake and glycemic indexes. Table sugar has a glycemic index of about 65. Fructose has a glycemic index of about 25. And stevia has less than 1. Again, this glycemic index is the function of the carbohydrate content in a sweetener. High glycemic index, big sugar spike, but also big insulin spike. Lower glycemic index, your body takes longer to convert the sugar to usable energy and releases it much more slowly into your bloodstream. So insulin is also released slowly. And what does this all mean? Well, we care about our blood sugar levels because that can affect our blood pressure, our weight, and put us at risk for diabetes and other health conditions as well. So when we hear that fructose doesn't increase our blood sugar levels, it sounds like this is the answer to all of our health troubles, right? No, I'm sorry to tell you, it's actually not that simple. Scientists for a long time have said that artificial sweeteners are a good alternative for diabetics and pre-diabetics because at first glance, it looks like it's good for controlling blood sugar levels. But over time, what researchers have discovered is that there's legitimate evidence that high fructose consumption actually leads to obesity, insulin resistance, and type 2 diabetes. The same conditions that high glucose intake leads to. And this is thought to be because we need to convert fructose to glucose before we can use it. This only happens in the liver. So when every cell in our body can use glucose molecules that are running around freely in our blood, only the liver can use fructose. And this puts a lot of stress on the liver. And as the liver is converting that fructose to glucose so that we can use it for energy, the liver actually increases fat formation through glycerol, the backbone of triglycerides, which are fat cells. So studies have shown that over time, people who consume more fructose have increased levels of fat, particularly around their liver and other organs. So now you might be asking, well, what should we be using then for sweeteners? Well, moderation is going to be my answer to that. A teaspoon of honey in your tea, that's not going to cause diabetes. But you don't have to cut everything out that I talked about here in the video. However, you do have to eat things in moderation. It's so important that you are thinking about what you're eating. Know and understand what it is going to do to your body. Before you sit down and eat whatever snack you just grabbed from the pantry, take a look at the label and see what the sugar content is. Understand that just because a sugar, or rather a sweetener, is a natural sweetener, this doesn't always mean that it's better for you. It certainly doesn't mean that it doesn't have calories and that it doesn't affect you. So now that you know more about sugar content and what it does to your body, what it does to your blood, I hope that you can make a change for the better with your health routine. And if you are pre-diabetic or you already have type 2 diabetes, talk to your doctor about sugar alternatives like stevia. I mentioned stevia in the beginning of this video, and it has a glycemic index of less than 1, and it is considered the best sugar alternative for people who have diabetes or are pre-diabetic. That could help you get the sweetness without increasing blood glucose levels and therefore putting yourself at risk for developing diseases like kidney disease or any other health problems as well. So let me know what you want to hear next in the comments below, and share with a friend if you think that this is something that they might find helpful. Be well, everyone. I'll see you next time.